Thank you so much, James, for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is James Pasternak. I'm a Toronto City Councillor, and I'm the Mayor's envoy in fighting hate. And sadly, there's a lot of hate in the world today. But I had a chance to see many of the photographs and see the faces of anguish and hurt and mourning that has afflicted the Yazidi people. I have read as much as I can about the genocide and the horrors that you have endured, and I'm deeply moved by it. Here in Toronto, we're certainly far from where the atrocities took place, but it is our responsibility to never forget and always remember those who lost their lives through the madness of hate and demonization. And there must be a universal condemnation of hate, which no cause can justify. We cannot have a world in which perpetrators of genocide are not brought to justice. Every victim has a name, and I've seen many of the faces here with names, and we must educate future generations that genocide starts out small, targeting, demonizing, hateful messaging, destroying the basis of a community. Many years ago, I had the opportunity to visit Dachau, the concentration camp. And there, hundreds of us walked in silence, thinking of the horrors that took place there. And you just shake your head and wonder, how did the human race get so consumed by hate that they would gas and burn millions of innocent men, women, and children? And I ask the same of this situation. What kind of hate drove the genocide of the Yazidi people? Elie Wiesel once said, when genocide is committed, it must be seen. People must look at it with open eyes and not minimize its impact. Genocide is not just a murderous madness. It is more a politics that promises a utopia beyond politics, one people, one land, one truth, the end of difference, and the horrors it all encompasses. Back in 2008, Mumbai, India, suffered a terrorist attack in which 170 people were murdered. I went to a memorial in Toronto, and former British Columbia Premier and MP Usman Dasson spoke. He said simply, there are a lot of people around the world who have grievances, and whether they are legitimate or not, nothing justifies this. More recently, U.S. Congresswoman Ann Wagner, Vice Chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, released the following statement. When President Biden signed into law her bipartisan Elie Wiesel Genocide Atrocities Prevention Extension Act, legislation to improve U.S. efforts to prevent mass atrocity crimes, she said, it is our responsibility to speak up and act when we see injustice. The Elie Wiesel Genocide and Atrocities Prevention Extension Act will strengthen our ongoing efforts to respond to atrocities globally and work to prevent such crises from developing at all. The world has seen unimaginable tragedies, and especially in wake of the brutal terror attack of October 7th in Israel, we know there is still much to be done to protect innocent civilians from depraved people who wish to wipe them from the face of the earth. When we teach about genocide, we must always remember to tell students why it's important to learn about these tragic events, why we must understand that small instances of hate, they grow, and unless there is universal condemnation and a state structure to stop it, the tragedy will only get darker and deadlier. In the case of the Yazidis, I'm absolutely shocked by what I read, what I've heard, and what occurred just 10 years ago, and what I've seen today. If we thought we had learned from the past, then there's sure a lot more to learn. We have a responsibility here to learn, to remember, and to acknowledge that every victim has a name. They were a father, a son, daughter, mother, sister, brother. They were human beings that deserve to have what we all want, to live in peace and security. Let us look back at this place and time that we did our part, that we never wavered, that we condemn the horrors of terrorism and hate that no cause can justify. If we are a city of high purpose, we must condemn terrorism and hate in all its forms, and we must remember the victims of genocide. And there are local lessons as well. whether you were born here or chose Toronto to settle here and begin anew, that to keep this city great, to go about our lives in peace, security, and freedom, to practice our faith, we must work as one, not just sharing a postal code, but the values and character that define who we are. And that means saying no to hate. Never again must really be never again. Our goal in prayer is simple, adhering to the truism that God's work in this world must truly be our own. May you go in peace.